All right, let's get into it. We are picking from the number 11 spot today, as always. If you have missed any of these mock drafts, they are all up in podcast form. They will eventually be all up on YouTube as well. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, we are doing every spot in a 12-team half-point PPR. And today we're going from the number 11 spot. So without any further ado, let us hit start. We will hit OK. And this thing is getting underway. And as always, I forgot to mute things to start. We start with two running backs this time in the top three with McCaffrey, Chase, and Eckler. Travis Kelce goes fifth. We are looping back around here. So we are in an interesting spot, and a spot we haven't really been in at all in these drafts, where both Barkley and Nick Chubb are gone by the time we are picking with this number 11 spot here. So we are going to go... so players available. All the quarterbacks. No quarterback has come off of the board yet. At running back, it is Henry, Jacobs, Pollard, Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris. And at wide receiver, it is Stephon Diggs, A.J. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And every quarterback but Travis Kelce still on the clock. Or still available, sorry. So there's a couple of different ways to go with this particular pick. We are going to go with the wide receiver call here. We're going to go Stephon Diggs. It's still so consistent with the Buffalo Bills. And coming back after us, it was A.J. Brown, Derrick Henry. It is so tempting to do the stack with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. We're probably not going to do that, though. Patrick Mahomes is right there. It's a very interesting one. I'm going to keep loading up on wide receiver. We're going to go Devontae Adams there, and we're just going to be stacked at the wide receiver position. And a couple of teams are doubling up on their initial positions early on. Josh Allen does come off of the board, as we expected. It would have been quite the thing if he would have survived on the turn all the way back around to us. But I am getting a little worried about the quality of the running backs that are going to be available for us at this point. Deebo Samuel going one pick before us. That actually happened in Real League. Calgary Media League. I was quite upset about it. So quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Justin Fields. At running back, it is Mixon, Hall, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker, and Damian Pierce. At wide receiver, Calvin Ridley, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins. And at tight end, it is Kittle, Hawkinson, Waller, Pitts, Goddard, and Ingram are still on the board. It would be tempting to go with a Calvin Ridley in this spot. I like Joe Mixon a ton, and I don't love the running back options after him. There are still some quarterbacks who I don't mind. So we're going to go Mixon here to get our RB1 kind of taken care of. Hurts does come off of the board, which I don't think, honestly, doesn't hurt that much. But I am a little wary of another run happening here. So we are going to go with a Justin Herbert over a Joe Burrow, just because of the calf concerns with Burrow. So that's where we go. Burrow does come off of the board with the 7th pick in the 4th round. Fields comes right after him. Ridley, Cooper, and Allen, some of the wide receivers that have come off. We do see a run on running backs. So I feel a little concerned about our position at running back right now, to be perfectly frank with all of you. But as it swings back to us, Darren Waller is the next one available there. And that might be the move. Let's see. At running back, it's DeAndre Swift, Alvin Kamara, Javonte Williams, Dalvin Cook, and Rashad White. At receiver, it's Jerry Jeudy, Christian Watson, Chris Godwin, and Brandon Ayuk. And then the tight ends, Waller, Pitts, Goddard, and then Evan Ingram. Because I don't love where we're at running back wise, I am going to go running back in this spot here. We're going to go Javonte Williams, the running back for the Denver Broncos. I just think he is so good. I was kind of hoping Waller would be there around the turn. Honestly, I probably should have played the ADP game a little bit there and gone with Waller instead and try to get Williams on the turn. So that was a bit of a misstep by me, but we're going to go Dallas Goedert here and lock in that tight end position. So once again, we have our starting lineup minus the flexes filled out in the first 6 picks, which is something I've been trying to do in all of my drafts so far, in all these mock drafts. And I would say that it has worked out pretty well so far. Bit of a run on wide receivers, but again, we're pretty set at wide receiver right now. So when it comes back around to us, at running back, available A.J. Dillon, Antonio Gibson, Khalil Herbert, and Zach Charbonnet. At wide receiver, it's Michael Pittman, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jahan Dotson, Brandon Cooks, Gabe Davis, and Zay Flowers. And we're not going to worry about tight end and quarterback. I think the best player available right now is Michael Pittman. So I think for a flex consideration, that is certainly the way that we are going to want to go with this one. So we are going to go with Michael Pittman here, and it's going to swing back around to us. It might be a bit of a reach, but I do want to get one of these running backs. Antonio Gibson comes off of the board, so that's where the panic starts to set in. So we will go Khalil Herbert, the number one running back for the Chicago Bears, and feel quite good about where we are sitting with that particular move. There you see the first defense coming off in the I guess if you're watching, you see it. If you're listening, you're not. But we see the top defense coming off in the 8-8, so the 8th pick of the 8th round. A few running backs went after us, so I'm happy we went Khalil Herbert when we did. So available now, Jamal Williams, Elijah Mitchell, Devon Achane, Ezekiel Elliott, and Jerick McKinnon. At wide receiver, Kadarius Toney, Traylon Burks, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Odell Beckham Jr. I'm going to go back to the running backs here. Jamal Williams still being available to us. He hasn't been someone who we've targeted a whole lot, but building up that depth at running back, he's going to have a lot of options, even when Alvin Kamara comes back, so I feel very comfortable going with him there. Was kind of hoping Burks would be available when it swung back around. So this is the point now where we start to consider defenses, right? We don't love a whole lot of the options that are here at running back. I think we can wait on Tank Bigsby, who we're looking to get. We can wait on him for another round. At wide receiver, don't love a lot of the options, so this is where I think we do dip into the defense pool, and I like having a defense that has Micah Parsons on it, so we will go with the Dallas Cowboys defense. Seeing a couple more defenses go. And honestly, at this point, like Elijah Moore would have been nice to have, but none of these names that are coming up after are making me feel any kind of regret or anything like that about picking a defense where we did. Damian Harris goes, Jerick McKinnon, Cole Kmet, Adam Thielen, and then it is back around to us. And this is where I think we can feel comfortable taking a Tank Bigsby. Jameson Williams is a real interesting play here as well. I don't want to risk losing Tank Bigsby, so we will go him there. Jameson Williams goes immediately after. So I didn't want to play the ADP game and get caught, with nothing. But we haven't really addressed a whole lot of our depth at wide receiver, so I would like to get another one there. Tyler Boyd is kind of interesting. Rashee Rice, I just get worried about a guy who came into training camp a little bit out of shape. We do have the two big wide receivers who we have been going with late. We'll go Romeo Doubs here. Swing back around, get ourselves into the Darnell Mooney business, and feel pretty good about where we're at. Missing out on Jaylen Warren, that was a miss by me. I probably should have gone with that instead of worrying about the position and try to play the ADP game, get Romeo Doubs around later. But I feel like we've got a couple of pretty good running backs that we have been able to solidify our depth with there. So missing out on him is a bit of a bummer, but I feel all right about where we are at this particular time. So at this point, we are going to go Darnell Mooney just to make sure we don't miss out on that strong depth, the wide receiver position, and a guy who I think is going to be very involved in the Bears offense this season. So the pick comes back around to us with the 14th overall pick. This is normally where we've been going Jeff Wilson Jr., but he is now out and may miss the entire season. Dante Foreman, Devin Singletary, Kenny Gainwell, Rashawn Johnson, and Kareem Hunt are all available right now at running back. At wide receiver, it's Rashee Rice, Jacoby Myers, Jalen Hyatt, Nico Collins, and Jonathan Mingo. So none of the options anywhere are really jumping out to me. I don't know if we need to double up on running backs out of the Chicago Bears, and quite frankly, that would be maybe a bit more investment in the Bears than we would absolutely be looking at. So we're going to go here with Jacoby Myers. It's the third target in Oakland, or in Vegas, sorry. So we'll go with a bit of a higher upside. I think Nico Collins could be interesting with the Houston Texans this year. So once again, we kind of load up on wide receiver late, got some pretty good running back depth in kind of the middle parts of this draft. And overall, I'm liking this team. I'm not loving this team, but I think it's a pretty strong one as the draft swings back around and we get ready for our final pick, which of course will be a kicker. But just to make it officially official on this one, we will go with Cameron Dicker and close out this draft. So to recap our mock draft in a 12-team half-point PPR from the 11th spot, we are going with Justin Herbert as our quarterback. Our tight end is going to be Dallas Goedert. Our two running backs are going to be Javonte Williams and Joe Mixon. Our wide receivers, Stephon Diggs and Devontae Adams. Our flex will probably be Michael Pittman. We have, I think, some good running back depth with Khalil Herbert, Jamal Williams, and Tank Bigsby. Two of those, Herbert and Bigsby. Herbert right away is the number one. I think Bigsby takes that number one job in Jacksonville at some point this season. Romeo Doubs, Darnell Mooney, and Nico Collins are our wide receiver depth. So there you go. That is another mock draft in the books.